So today I want to go more in depth on what might be the only reason that you don't have your manifestation yet, and that is the pedestal. How do you take your person or your manifestation off the pedestal? How do you stop obsessing over them as if they are so dang important and you can't live without them? How do you take your power back from that person so that you can finally influence the dynamic in a powerful way that does give you a reflective change in them? How do you do that? We're going to get deep into this today. And before we start, I will introduce myself to any of you who might not know me yet. My name is Genevieve. I am a manifestation coach, and on this channel we talk all about law of assumption and other manifestation techniques, complementary manifestation ideas. I talk a lot about somatic releasing because I think a lot of you don't know, we're never taught how to deal with your emotions, and therefore you're not incorporating your emotions healthfully into your manifestations. And anyway, that's kind of, well, actually, we probably will touch on that a little bit in this video, but I am here to really go deep into these topics with you so you really get what you're supposed to be doing and therefore actually get the life that you want. So if you want to work with me, there are links below for all the ways that you can do that. You can do a one-on-one with me if you want, but I also have courses that I highly recommend because they're going to give you structured content, lessons, homework that you can do over time that are really going to give you a sustainable shift. So all of that's down below. Check that out for all the different courses and things and options to work with me. So I want to start by talking about power. You often hear, and you know intellectually, you know that you are the operant power of your life. And what that means is you are the only one creating meaning out of your life. You're the only one deeming what has power over you and what has no power over you. You're deeming what's important in your life and what's not important in your life. You're deeming what's possible for you and what's not possible for you. Every little experience that you're having, you have created through meaning making and focus. And so you are the power. But the interesting thing about being the operant power is that we can actually give our power away to other things. So as the operant power, if you perceive yourself as powerless, and for example, a specific person that you're manifesting as powerful because you're giving them so much importance and therefore you're giving them power over you, it's like kind of ironic that you're so powerful that you can give your power away. But it's important to think about this because when you are trying to manifest from a seat of powerlessness because you're the one that's obsessed with them, you're the one that has them on a pedestal, you're the one who thinks that you're lonely and sad without them. So if you have given yourself that kind of a role, and they're the ones that are, you're perceiving them as they're off in their life, having a great old time without you, just living their life with a million third parties, and you're just viewing them in that way. It's like you have to address that first before you can even maybe do the techniques. Although the techniques you do, depending on which ones you choose, should hopefully help you regain your power. But I just want to start by talking about power in this way so that you can really see if you continue to try to manifest from this seat that you've given yourself, where you're, like I said, you're the one that's obsessed. They're not obsessed with you. They're just doing whatever. You're the one trying to get them to give you attention. You're the one manifesting them. You've got to get out of that entire paradigm. Like you've got to stop seeing all of this like this. And that leads me to another point. And that is something that I've noticed is that just the nature of manifesting someone or manifesting something. In this video, I probably am going to be mostly referencing manifesting specific people because that's where I feel like this pedestalization happens the most. But you can absolutely pedestalize all kinds of other manifestations. So this absolutely applies to everything, not just SPs, but I am probably in this video going to mostly be referencing SPs, specific people. So what I've noticed is that just the nature of manifesting someone can accidentally keep you even more in obsession over that person, in limerence over that person. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the concept of limerence, it is being in a state of almost like intrusively thinking about someone all the time. And it's almost always someone that you're not in relationship with. So you're kind of constantly in a state of like anxiety and wondering all the time, like, well, are they thinking about me? Do they care about me? I wonder if things are going to work out between us. I wonder what they're doing right now. It's like you're kind of constantly fixated on that other person, and if they're ever going to like, be with you, or if they like you. You're kind of constantly looking for signs that they like you. You're constantly over analyzing their social media for any hints that like they are thinking about you. That is being in limerence over another person. And the unfortunate thing that I've seen in a lot of people who are manifesting specific people is that the nature of manifesting them can accidentally put you even more in limerence about that person. And actually, manifestation, if done properly, it should have the opposite effect on you, because you should be, if you're manifesting someone, very actively practicing living in the knowing that everything is good between you and that person. You are embodying the version of you that is in a very comfortable, normal, secure, safe relationship with that person. And that version of you, that secure, safe, loved version of you, is not embodying limerent behavior towards that person. Like you, who knows that you're loved and secure and totally just living your life and having a good time, you are not constantly thinking like, oh my God, I wonder if they still like me. I wonder, like, should I look on their social media, make sure they're not following any other people that I think might be a threat to me. You're not doing that. You are just enjoying your amazing relationship. And that's what you are meant to be embodying, the feelings of that. That's how you manifest them. So I'm bringing this up because if you are in limerence towards your specific person, where, as I said, you're thinking about them constantly, you're always, it kind of feels like a low grade anxiety where you're just constantly wondering, like, I wonder what they're doing today. I wonder if they're going to reach out to me today. I wonder, like, I hope it's going to work out. I wonder if they're thinking about me. Like, if you are doing that, you're not in the right state. You know that they are still on a pedestal. You know that you're not embodying a knowing of like, yeah, I trust my imagination. I trust my knowing of whatever I say is real as the operant power is real. And all I have to do is keep being faithful to who I know I am and what I know is true about me. And if I know it's true about me, that me and this person have this amazing relationship and they are the one obsessed with me, or they're the one that's so in love with me and they're so adoring towards me, blah, 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 whatever it is that you want. If you aren't remembering constantly to be practicing that, and I say constantly in the sense that, like, if you're deep in limerence right now over your person where you don't have them, you're the one obsessed with them, they don't really care about you, maybe you're even blocked because you're annoying them so much. If you are still acting in that reality, if you're being in that reality, then your manifestation's like, it's not working because you're not choosing it. Like, you have to remember, as the operant power, you have to constantly choose your own reality. You have to be faithful to it. You have to protect it. You have to go back to it a lot. So when I say constantly go back to it, if you're in limerence, you have to constantly remind yourself, oh yeah, my internal reality, what I really know is true within me, is the only thing that actually is true about me. And if I want this 3D to change, if I want the world to harden into fact even more, I have to harden even more into being a different person about this person, place, or thing that I'm trying to manifest. Because you can't be in two realities at once. It's either that you believe in your wish fulfilled reality, or at the very least, you're diligently practicing and consistently sticking to deepening your belief in the wish fulfilled in a healthy way and not in a weird, again, like that obsession just channeling into like anxious affirming or whatever. Like, that's not what I mean by being consistent in a healthy way. If the you behind your affirmations or the you behind your practice is anxious and that, like, that codependent reaching where it's like, I'm just nothing without this person, I need them to come back to me. If that's the dominant energy of, who you're being behind this, that's still just you being, and again, like you having them on a pedestal, you being maybe in limerence about them, you obsessing about them, and then like hijacking a manifestation technique just to like output the anxious energy into a manifestation technique and then calling it manifesting, but it's not manifesting. It's just keeping you even more patterned in the obsession. So You are instead, like I said, doing a healthy, consistent practice that is reminding me, oh yeah, this isn't even about that person. This is about me choosing to be secure and in one reality. And if I want to be in the reality where I am so secure, I am so loved, I only identify with secure attachment style, or whatever you would like to claim for yourself in that moment, you have to, in a compassionate but in a diligent mental diet kind of way, bring yourself back to that. Remember that. So hold yourself accountable on this, not because of them. This is also a big, big thing that I just need to remind you of. You are never, ever manifesting a specific person and making it all about them, in the sense that you're making it all about, oh, when they change, then I'll feel better. I have to just constantly remind you guys of this. Like, you are doing this for you. You are persisting because it's what's best for you to feel this secure, to feel this good, to feel this loved in relationship. It's what's good for you to keep being that version of yourself, to keep going into that reality through your imagination, through your affirmations. You are doing this because it is what you deserve. You're doing it from that place of true, healthy, self-focused self-concept. And you're not doing it because you're just like, I just got to do it for them. I just got to do it to make sure I get them. Like, again, that's just another energy. It's just another part of your being that's still putting them on a pedestal, and still, it's like coming from the part of you that thinks that you are completely empty and alone without that one person that you're obsessed with. And this leads me to my next point, a pattern that I've seen, and I've mentioned before, I see a lot of patterns, and this is another one. A pattern that I've seen in my clients who are quote unquote not successful. And really all that means is they're not successful yet. There's no such thing as failing at this. Like, you cannot fail at this unless you truly give up, or if you are truly incapable of being honest and you truly just can't even see yourself and what you're doing and who you're being. The pattern that I've seen in my clients is that the ones who have a really big fear, like a big fear that says, this is my person, I'll never be satisfied with another person. This is the only person that I'll ever love, that I'll ever be fulfilled by, that they are my everything. Like, I met them, they're my twin flame, or they're my soul, like all that stuff. The people who are really in that, and they're truly afraid, and they'll actually say to me, like, I'm afraid of this not working. I'm so afraid that maybe I won't get this person, that like I can't be with them or whatever. People who are dominantly in that don't get their person. And I'm going, and again, not permanently, but in the moments that they're really in it, when they're in that reality where they're really claiming things like, I can't live without this person. When those people are in that reality and they're not out of it yet, they obviously don't have their person. And you can kind of guess why, because they're occupying a state that says, I don't have it, and I'm so afraid of living without it, that they actually create themselves to be living without it. And it's like they keep pushing out that person, like in terms of like pushing them away, because that's pushing the person away is what keeps them in the state of fear and I don't have it. I hope this makes sense. Like, let me give you a real world example of what I mean. Like, imagine someone in your life that you're really genuinely very secure and comfortable with in your life right now. Like, maybe it's your best friend, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's even like a coworker, but somebody in your life that you really feel like, oh yeah, me and that person, we're like pretty close, we really vibe, we really get each other, and you just know you have a very secure bond with them. Like, you're not in limerence over them, but you can talk to them whenever, they're always there for you, you're always there for them. Imagine that all of a sudden you started thinking about that person, like, and let's just say in this example that it's your best friend or whatever. Imagine that all of a sudden you started thinking about them and you're like, oh my God, I can't live without my best friend. And not in like a casual way, but you really believe that, where you're like, whoa, I can't live without my best friend. Like, she's so important to me. I can't live without her. And there's like a fear in that. Just do a fun experiment, or don't, and just follow the knowingness that I'm going to give you here. If you did the experiment of, oh, just for funsies, I'm going to go into the reality where yeah, I'm going to really assume that I can't live without my best friend. And you're assuming it in that kind of anxious way, that very fearful way. Just notice how quickly things start getting weird between you and your best friend. She's either going to start ghosting you more, not being as available to you, or you're going to start getting in fights all of a sudden. You're going to start like not understanding each other so much anymore. I'm saying this as like a real world example that like the moment you start feeling like fearfully dependent upon another person, you naturally start to push that person away. You start to inject, strife in the dynamic where that dependency, it invites not being on the same page with each other anymore, where they kind of have to go because you're naturally pushing them away. You're starting to occupy a fearful reality in regards to that person. So this is what I mean about power, the importance of power and power dynamics, and also being very aware of how much power we give to fear and the fear we inject into dynamics. So whenever you're looking at your specific person, the one that you are hoping to manifest this relationship with, and you're looking at it through the eyes of this fearful and limited, scarce, like, oh my God, I can't live without them, and I'm so afraid that it won't work out between us. Like when you're dominantly looking at this person, who is also just a person, this is something else I wanted to say, just normalize them. They're just another human being on this planet. They poop and fart and do all that. Like they're just a human being. Like stop making them like so like, oh my God, they're so amazing. Like I don't even care if you're manifesting like the Pope. I know that's a weird example, but even if you were manifesting the Pope, I would be like, still just a person, still just a random person. Oh my gosh, that was a funny example. But that can actually be another thing you might need to remind yourself, especially if you are noticing some limerence about your person, some obsession about them, is to remind yourself like they are not my savior. They're also not the source of my love, as if like they're the only one I'll ever love. I'll never have anybody as good as them. Like the more that you're doing that, the more you're like projecting so much weirdness onto them. They are just another human being. And it's cool that you have a connection to them, of course. Like it's not an accident that they were brought into your physical awareness and that you two were led together and now they're, you know about them because you obviously manifested each other. But the more you like create this like specialness about them, that they're just like so like all that you'll ever know and love and you just need them so much. It's just you are choosing not to have them. The more that you do that, the more you make them like not accessible, not just like a regular human that you can have a normal ass fun relationship with. So just remind yourself in whatever way works for you that they're just a human. And also, this is kind of an interesting thing to say, but also notice where you might be objectifying them. Like remember that them being a human means that they have like their own human stuff going on that's maybe not about you. But another thing I see in people who are manifesting specific people is they kind of objectify that person to be like they make everything about that person about them. Like they think they're just over analyzing everything about that person as if it means something about them. And that's not helping you. And in some ways, you're even taking the concept of everyone is you pushed out way too far by projecting that onto them. And again, making it be like everything they do is about you and their whole existence is about you. And you're kind of objectifying them in that sense of like you need something from them for your security. You're making their existence all about you. Like I need them to love me. I need them to give me the attention that I really want. I need them to do what I want. That's objectifying another person. It's also being very transactional in your sense of love. So that doesn't manifest well. I mean, from experience in my own life and from tons of clients, that never manifests well if you're seeing someone through this lens of like huge pedestal, tons of specialness added onto them, as if they're like the most, amazing, loving thing that's ever happened to you, and it'll only happen in that one person. And making everything they do about you and not just giving them room to just be a human, just loving them unconditionally in all of their humanness and all the stuff going on in their life that may be something to do with you, like their work stuff, like whatever, like just seeing them in a whole way is going to help you tremendously to manifest them and to take them off the pedestal because again, you're no longer seeing them so dang special, so dang like, everything you've ever wanted will only exist in that person. Like it's just stop doing that. You're pushing them away the more and more you do that. So the last thing I'll say about this is if you need help in your consciousness, like how do I take this person that I've been obsessing about and trying to manifest for so long, how do I just make them normal and therefore accessible to me, and therefore I can embody the dynamic where, yeah, it's easy to know that me and that person are totally cool with each other and have this great love that we share and we're very close and all that. How can I do that? Well, if you really don't know, because you're so used to seeing this person through this very special, very fearful lens, look at other people in your life that you have had a better relationship with, or a better attachment, a better bond with, in which like you've just naturally been able to assume nice things about them. You show up a certain way in that relationship, and kind of just like start like taking things from that dynamic and almost like a copy and paste onto this one, and again, practice. This is going to take practice, especially for people who I said are like deep in the obsession still. You're going to need to focus your consciousness a lot to like get the neural pathways to no longer be going this way. Like we're going to go this way now. So practice relating to your specific person, in a similar way you might have related to another person who you want that kind of bond, but you want it with your SP. You just copy and paste over it. So I think that is good for today. I hope this grounded you in realizing why you cannot be manifesting somebody and then wondering why it's not working, when it's like you have to look at yourself honestly. You have to see that you are totally obsessed. And again, I'm being kind of extreme in this language that I'm using right now. So some of you might be watching me like, oh, I'm not totally obsessed. I'm better than I was before. I'm less obsessed. But still, if you can be honest with yourself, self-honesty is truly so important, where you can really see who you're being, what you're doing really in this dynamic, like how you're thinking, like really seeing it clearly, so that then you can clearly change it. But if you're not able to be self-honest and see what you're doing, it is going to be harder to change because you're not really seeing who you're being. So if you can be self-honest and be like, okay, I'm still creating the dynamic where they're cool and special and I'm not, and I'm like trying to get them, and it's not working because I'm still, again, giving myself the role in this dynamic that's like not the one I want. Yeah, just be honest. And then of course you need to be consistent in practicing your actual wish fulfilled. So anyway, I hope this helped you today. And again, the links are below for any of the courses that I offer and to work with me one-on-one if you would like. So I will see you guys in my next video. All right, bye.